We find minors every day that we're out here working.
What sort of ages are these?
We've had them as young as 11 and all the way to 17. 11's the youngest that we've had, though.
And she was being forced to sell herself
Yes.
for sex on the street?
On the street and online as well.
On the street they call the Blade, in the richest country in the world, children are bought and sold at any time of day, every day.
We're looking for people hiding in the shadows, and oftentimes you'll see girls in the shadows in the corners, and they're looking at the motorists in the cars and looking in to see if there's males in the car.
This is South Central, one of the poorest, toughest parts of Los Angeles. Sergeant Brian Gallagher heads the area vice unit.
A car approached her. She's again moving, slowly moving northbound now.
His job tonight, find those girls, get them off the street.
Stopped at Imperial in the McDonald's parking lot.
Uniformed officers have followed a car and forced it to stop. They've recognised the driver. He has a passenger. It's cold. She's shivering. It's 4 o'clock in the morning and a routine patrol of the vice squad here has pulled over a car driven by a man they know is a pimp. When they stopped it, a young woman got out of the car and they're concerned about her. She says she's 19. The police fear she's being exploited.
We call them Romeo pimps, as kind of like a dating relationship. And then suddenly the pimp says, hey, I need you to do this for us so we get a little bit more money and we can have a life and live happily ever after.
The tattoos on her leg and neck are a giveaway. She's been branded with the name of her pimp. Almost all the girls have been marked like this. Police gently start to tease out the information they need. It turns out she's been reported missing by her parents. Officers hope they can persuade her to leave this life and get home.
My cousin grabbed me on the way home from school. Next thing I know, I'm in a different city.
America is slowly waking up to the reality that thousands of children across the US are being sexually exploited for money.
Type of attention at home. I'm 12 years old. 12 years old.
I was actually groomed from a very young girl, and at one point in my life, I thought that this is as good as my life is going to get.
Jessica Midkiff still has her pimp's tattoo. Put to work on the street from the age of 11, now she helps other exploited children.
You know, our kids are being picked off left and right to be bought and sold and to make someone else money. It's kind of like our kids are seen as something to sell, like a cup or a piece of paper. They're not seen as human beings. Like this is something that is actually taking over the United States very rapidly.
Which is why California has launched this statewide operation, the biggest of its kind ever to take place here. So far, they've arrested hundreds of adult prostitutes, but their real aim is to find the children who are forced to work on the streets. And when they find them, they treat them very differently. These girls are 16 and 17. They're arrested like all the others and taken to the police station. But they don't end up in a cell. Instead, they're led to the soft room. No bars, no locks. It's a place of safety with specially trained police and social workers. A place where a child can talk.
The soft room is really to put the victim at ease, make them understand that we're treating them as a victim and not as a suspect, and that anything they did tonight was not going to be treated as a crime, and that what we really want to do is save them, bring them to a safe environment so they can get the resources they need, and we could also get to the bottom of who is doing this to them so we could bring that person to justice.
So this is about help, not punishment?
Absolutely.
It's day 2 of the operation. We ride along with another vice unit, this time in Compton, once notorious for drugs and gang violence. On the main street in broad daylight, women are already looking for customers. Easy to spot, they're detained. And processed. Here, police, social workers and anti-trafficking experts work together. Some of the women are released with a warning. Others, multiple offenders, are taken to jail. In a holding area, they come face to face with their customers, what they call Johns. If it looks harsh, it's meant to be, a deliberate tactic, shame used as a powerful deterrent. Few of the women, though, are able to leave the life. Just 18, caught for a second time, Treasure. She started on the street in middle school.
Raped. Somebody put a knife out on me, a gun, try to rob me. Those are just a few things that happened to me.
But you were a child when you first started doing this.
Yeah. This is never long term for me. This will never be long term.
But are you really going to get out?
Yeah, I am. And soon.
Hello?
This is Crystal.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, are you available for an alcohol?
Crystal is in for an unpleasant surprise. The caller is an undercover officer. Prostitutes openly advertise online. Some are children, even on mainstream websites.
How much for just sex? Half an hour in sex. Awesome. How long until you can be here?
Here, they're setting up a sting in a hotel room. The undercover officer will be in one room, while next door, an entire team is getting ready. They wait, they listen. When the officer has the proof he needs, they go in.
Police department, turn around, keep your hands behind your back for me.
This time, it's an adult. She thought she'd go home with $140. It's not her first offence. She may go to jail instead. So, why is she here? Just listen.
I have no food. My life is falling apart. This is the only thing I can do to survive on these streets right now.
Hi, ma'am. It's Valdez with Vice. I was wondering, this is beginning somewhere for me now.
I'm a father, and you have a heart for these people, If you don't, then you're in the wrong profession.
Police department, LAPD, stand up for me.
Okay, she's in custody.
It is often young, vulnerable people that are pulled into this lifestyle. So, I hope and believe that in time that this will get better.
In South Central, on the Blade, it's the final night of the operation. It's cold, but the prostitutes are still working, forced to bring money to their pimp every day.
She's continuing westbound through Denver. It looks like she was texting on her phone.
Despite years of experience, Brian Gallagher is still horrified by what he finds.
What alarms me is how big the problem is and how little people know about the problem. In fact, even us as law enforcement, how little we know how big this problem is. This is like crack cocaine in the 80s. Young girls that are being sold out here, the difference with a young girl and crack cocaine, she can be sold 10 times in one night. A piece of crack cocaine can be sold once.
During the 3 days, police across the state arrested almost 500 people.
If you want to be safe, you got to go home.
As the sun comes up, the work seems never-ending.
Chill out. Relax.
Children, forced to work the streets, turn into women who know only this, a life of violence and exploitation. Angus Crawford, BBC News, Los Angeles.